Right, next, number 4. Mega agents believe in the strategic benefits of working with sellers instead of buyers. Now, there are exceptions to this. There are some buyers agents that make a great living working with buyers, but I'm telling you, for 99% of mega achieving agents, what they focus on is working with sellers. You've heard this phrase, you've got a list to last in real estate, list to last. You've got to devote your lead generation time to securing seller listings and mandates. Okay, now why do we say work with sellers, not with buyers? Now, when we say work with sellers, not with buyers, what I'm saying is you spend the majority of your time finding and signing mandates, listings, and then marketing those listings, as opposed to, you know, you market on Facebook for buyers, you know, like who's looking for property, I'll help you find a house, or somebody phones you off an advert on the internet and they say, oh, are you an estate agent? Yeah, I'm looking for a house in your area. You say, sure, come along, get in my car, I'll drive you around and show you what I've got. And you show this person 50 things over a 3-week period. You've gone out with them 10 times and they can never make up their mind and they end up buying through another agent. Does that story sound familiar to you? Probably does if you've been in real estate at any point in time. What we're saying is don't do that. Work with sellers. Devote your time to listings. Now, I'm going to just throw out some reasons for that. Why work with sellers? Number 1, listen to this. Mandates provide marketing opportunities for your business. When you are listing lots of homes, that provides you with opportunities to gain visibility, to build your brand, to be seen. Just think of it. You get a listing. What can you do? Now, you now put a sign on their front lawn, on their wall. You have a show house. You have directional signage to their house and balloons outside the front with your branding. You can put adverts on P24 and private property and other portals. You can put stuff on in print advertising, if you still do that anymore. You can do circle prospecting, which means contacting all of the homeowners around that listing and saying, hey, there's this listing that, you know, your next door neighbor just put their house on the market. Is there anything I can do for you? You can do direct mail campaigns. So flyers that go into all of the homes in the area, just listed cards or show house invitations. You can send out emails to your whole database or to a buyer's list. Just listed. Click on this link to check out the listing. You can put bursts on social media about the listing that you've just had. You can print brochures. You can print posters. Guys, you get the point. Having a listing gives you an opportunity to be visible, to brand yourself, to get your name out there. Now, think of that compared to some guy phones you up and says, can you help me find a house? You're driving this person around. Nobody knows about that. That doesn't give you any opportunity to brand yourself. Okay. Secondly, even in a buyer's market, when what we're wanting is good buyers with cash ready to buy, how do you find buyers? You know, when you go fishing, you don't just shove your hand in the water. You got to have something that attracts the fish. Okay, so like bait attracts fish, houses or listings attract buyers. You know, the studies show us that if you have a well-priced mandate, if you properly market that mandate on the portals, etc., it should lead to at least one serious buyer that you meet who buys that, now listen, or another property. So how did you meet the buyer? They don't buy the house that they responded to. You show them that house, but then their needs are slightly different. But then you say, hey, I've got another place which I want to show you. They look at that, they buy that one. How did you meet the buyer? You met the buyer because you had a listing. Okay, number 3, you got more control of your time when you work with sellers than with buyers. Why? Because sellers generally have less urgency and impatience than buyers do. I'm sure you've all had a phone call in the middle of dinner with some very impatient buyer who wants you to drop everything and go and show them a house because they think they're going to lose it. And then, you know, you show it to them and they say, well, I didn't realize it was a double story. You know, couldn't you see that from the road? You know, like, and then you go back to your cold dinner and a grumpy husband or a grumpy wife. You don't get those kinds of urgent phone calls from sellers, do you? No, because sellers are generally more measured. They're not as urgent. So you've got more control of your time. That also means that you can do more. You can do more volume. It actually takes less time working with sellers than it does working with buyers. The studies show 8 hours in total to close a seller versus 32 hours to close a buyer if you're just working exclusively with a buyer. And that means you can do more volume. You can actually do more transactions working with sellers than working with buyers. And then the last reason I want to throw out at you is that working with mandates gives you a better handle on the pricing of the current market. And that leads to confidence. One of the major points I am going to make to you today is that mega achieving agents are agents with confidence. And confidence can't be a trick of the mind. It's got to be something you gain through actually knowing your stuff. And the listing agents in an area are the agents who know their stuff. Why? Because you're continually doing CMA or valuations for the sellers that you're listing their properties for. It's part of the process. And so you're the one in the know. You're the expert.